NBA draft. Irvin was chosen by the Washington Mystics. The LA Sparks used their first-round pick on Alabama forward Sarah Ashley Barker. The number 77 jersey worn by Lakers star Luka Doncic is the top-selling jersey in the NBA. Doncic is the first player other than LeBron and Steph Curry to lead the NBA in jersey sales since 2013. Doncic, a native of Slovenia, is also the first international player to lead the NBA in jersey sales. For some reason, Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders has declined an invitation to attend the NFL draft, scheduled for April 24th in Green Bay. Sanders is projected to be the second quarterback selected. At least 17 players expected to be first-round picks have agreed to attend the draft. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis, Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Fuck that for you. Fuck that for you. Fuck that for you. Fuck that. Fuck that for you. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that for you.
Like Cleopatra got the masses at my feet, got a living ground down on Easy Street. I'm the latest craze, oh yeah. And if you stay a while, inevitably you're gonna bottom my style in your later days. Well.
I'm Tavis, Smiley. Welcome to hour 2 of our program today. In this hour, we commence a conversation with Grammy Award-winning, multifaceted soul artist and actress Macy Gray, talking about her role in the new film Sneaks. Plus, we're going to celebrate the 25th anniversary of her classic seminal album, On How Life Is. But first, here's the trailer for Sneaks. Now, this is radio, so you have to use your imagination, but just know that these are sneakers doing the talking. Play the clip for me, Miles.
Once a year, sneakerheads come together for the largest convention this side of the Hudson River.
The Sneakerhead Gala.
I go by the name of Mustard. Congratulations to our winner.
I got the ticket. I won. These shoes, they're gonna change everything. Stay right here. Ah, a foot. He put his foot inside me. Ugh. I like him. My shoes!
We're being kidnapped!
Where's the other one?
I've got to find that shoe!
I'm too pretty to die.
Looks to me like you can use my street smarts.
With you as my guide, nothing can go wrong. Ah! Pebble! Pebble! Oh, I'm hit! I have to find my sister.
How we gonna find one sneaker in a city as big as New York?
Oh, I'll show you where to go, bro.
You and your mama?
Oh, my mom was a Louboutin.
Yeah, your mama was from Payless.
I don't belong here. So what's the best way out of this prison?
Technically, it's not possible.
Okay.
We need to go uptown ASAP.
As soon as possible? We can't go that slow.
Wait, what? I think I'm gonna be sick.
The collector is into some deep dirt.
We're meant to strive, to achieve. Maybe I can make a difference to one kid. I've got a brother to find and a game to play.
This is amazing! Here comes the drop!
Do you trust me?
0.0%! Yeah!
Sneaks don't talk round here. We
Converse.
Macy Gray, good to have you on. How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
If I complained, I've been in great. Always better when I get a chance to talk to you. We've done this a number of times over the years, so it's good to see you. I'm glad to have you back on the program. Tell me about Sneaks and your role in it.
I play a pump or a heel, a woman's pump.
Tell me more about the character.
I'm the woman in the movie. I'm running everything. It's my movie. No, I'm just kidding. I'm the main character. I'm his ex, and I'm kind of helping him get back on his feet.
The cast on this thing is pretty amazing. Lawrence Fishburne, Martin Lawrence, Anthony Mackie. When stuff comes to you these days, particularly with names like that attached to it, how are you deciding, Macy, what you do and don't want to do in terms of film these days?
Just good writing. It's always the story. You want to be part of a good story, and that's really it for me. And of course, if it's a character, I feel like I can really, I can go in and kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was it about this particular character that attracted you, to your point?
She's interesting because she's kind of the hero in the movie because she kind of saves the main character. She kind of gets him back to where he needs to be proper shoes again. Right. And she just reminded me of like most girls, you meet a guy and he's kind of hurting and you want to save him, you know what I mean? So it's this love story. It's kind of deep in that. That's kind of what I found in it, but it's also very light. It's also just a cute little relationship she has with her ex.
Yeah. Tell me the difference. Clearly there is one. The difference for you in doing animated projects versus projects where you're acting on screen.
Well, animation's totally different. You can hide behind microphone. They'll never see you. You can be like, totally not in makeup. You can be overweight and nobody will ever know it. So that's animation. But live action is a lot more challenging because it involves all that other stuff,
Yeah. I want to talk when we come forward a bit more about Sneaks. But I really want to spend a few minutes, as I said, in the time that we have, not a lot of time today, celebrating the 25th anniversary of your classic seminal album on How Life Is. There's a tour connected to this. So Macy Gray is as busy as ever. Again, the new film is called Sneaks. Again, an amazing cast: Martin Lawrence, Anthony Mackie, Lawrence Fishburne, Macy Gray, a bunch of other people. So that's the movie Sneaks. When we come forward, we're going to celebrate this classic album that I love and all the rest of y'all love on How Life Is. You're listening to Macy Gray on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Mayfresh Daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Games, changes, and fears. When will they go from here? When will they stop? I believe that fate has brought us here. And we should be together, babe, but we're not. I'll play it off, but I'm dreaming of you. And I'll keep my cool, but I'm feeling. I try to say goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. Though I try to hide it, it's clear. When you are not there, goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. Though I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not there. I may appear to be free, but I'm just a prisoner of your love. And I may seem alright and smile.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Our guest in this half hour is Macy Gray. Honored to have her back on this program. We were just talking, in case you've just tuned in late, we're talking about the new movie, the new animated film, Sneaks. Again, great cast. Martin Lawrence, Anthony Mackie, Lawrence Fishburne, Macy Gray. You'll want to see this one. I've already seen it. It's a pretty amazing project. You'll want to see it. Your kids will want to see it. Macy plays, as she put it, sort of the hero of the story. We can't give it away. But you'll want to see this new film called Sneaks. But you don't have Macy Gray on your program right about now without celebrating the 25th anniversary of her classic and seminal album, On How Life Is. Now, I'm going to ask Macy just to sit tight for just a second, because I want to give you the backstory. I did all my research, and I've known Macy for years, of course, interviewed her a number of times. But I did my research for this because I wanted to really understand how this album came to be. And for those of you like me who are Macy Gray fans, you may or may not know the backstory to how this album actually happened. The backstory for me is almost as fascinating as the album is. So let me ask Macy to sit tight for a second. I want to share with the audience, Macy, the backstory of this project. And if any of this is wrong, when I shut up, you can correct me. But let me just let me just share the story right quick. So despite her difficulties growing up, Macy was a gifted student who began classical piano study at the age of 7. After being told by her mother that her only ticket out was college, she made a point to ace her high school education. She graduates from high school, gets accepted to the U.S. Naval Academy, the USC Film School, the Stanford Creative Writing Program. She chooses, Macy does, the USC Film School, and she moves to L.A. All right, fast forwarding here. Macy's first live performance was at a downtown L.A. hotel, singing jazz standards at a Sunday brunch. Jumping again. After graduation from USC, Macy opens her own night spot in Hollywood called The Wee Hours. That's the W-E, The Wee Hours, a small cafe that featured open mic on the weekends. Stay with me. As my preacher says, I'm going somewhere with this. Over the next few years, Macy would work several jobs at MTV as a production assistant at VH1, but in her spare time, she's still recording every chance she gets, making demo tapes and mailing them out to record labels, playing clubs here in LA on the Sunset Strip. All right, in 1994, an Atlantic Records A&R executive happens to catch her performing at the famed Roxy. He signs her at 25 years of age, and Macy records her first album, Theme of Beauty. But that very same year, Macy finds out that she's expecting. And upon hearing the news, she gets dropped from the label Atlantic. They drop her. And the Thing of Beauty album never gets released. Fast forward again. Now we're in 1997. She's married with 3 kids, living in North Hollywood, separates from her husband, and moves back to Ohio to live with her mom. But she had no idea that those demo tapes that she'd been sending out had landed on the desk of a guy named Jeff Blue, an executive at Zomba Publishing. Somehow, she done left LA, she back in Ohio. But somehow, this executive, Jeff Blue, finds Macy's number in Ohio and tracks her down. Talks to her and tells her he really loves this song called, wait for it, I Try. They then start shopping this song around. And in the winter of 1998, Macy is invited to meet with the president of Epic Records, the late Polly Anthony. The label releases Macy Gray on How Life Is on July 1, 1999, and it goes on to be nominated for Grammys 5 times, selling millions and millions and millions of records. And here Macy Gray is 25 years later celebrating I Try. It took me a few minutes to do that, Macy, but I wanted folks to understand, get a sense at least of all that you went through trying to get this record deal, trying to get this album out. You're back in Ohio. This executive tracks you down. They like the song I Tried. The rest, as they say, is history. That backstory, Macy, is as amazing to me as any I've ever heard about how an album came to be. If I got anything wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you just made me feel so good about myself. I'm sitting around like calling myself names, and you just like made me remember I'm okay. Thank you so much.
No, that's my job here to make you feel good. But tell me what you recall about those years where you were trying to get your career off the ground and it wasn't quite happening. You go back home to Ohio, and as I said, they find you, and your gift cannot be denied. But tell me about those years when you were trying to get your music out there.
I just liked it. I liked playing. I liked the hustle. I even liked the rejection because I was learning so much from it. I liked the clubs. I liked the smell of it. I liked the musicians. I just liked the whole everything about it, So it made sense that it worked out for me. But yeah, when I went home to stay with my mom, I thought that was it. I was gonna be a teacher or something. My mom's a teacher, and she was like, "Well, I can help you get a teacher job." So I thought I was gonna be a teacher at the school she taught at. That's where I was.
Yeah. What you said a moment ago, Macy, I think is informative and instructive for the audience when you mentioned that you even love the rejection because you were learning from rejection. Not everybody admits that. They don't admit that they appreciate the rejection. Tell me more about what you meant when you said you were actually learning from the rejection.
Well, that's the only way you can really get good at something. You learn what doesn't work, and then you twist it and you turn it till it works. That's how you get better. You know what I mean? If everybody says yes to whatever you do, you'll probably stay there for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So it's good. It's healthy, and as long as you can treat it that way as something that's meant to make you better, then you'll be all right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it hurts. I'm not gonna say it wasn't awful sometimes. Nobody wants to be rejected, but
Yeah.
But just looking back, I know that that's what I needed at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Why were you, and not maybe why is the wrong way, but how were you singing these jazz standards? I mean, when we think about your music now, I don't think the average fan thinks about jazz per se. But tell me about those days where you were starting out here in LA singing jazz standards in a club.
Well, jazz was cool when I was coming up. I don't know how old you are, but like I was coming up during like Herbie Hancock and Sade. I mean, I know that
Right.
not pure and Miles Davis was still popular. Like, I came up in a really good time of music. Like reggae was still big, Bob Marley was still around, rock and roll was still huge, and hip hop was making its way, and we had all the R&B, the New Edition and the Whitney Houston. It was just the best time in music. So and then the college was very jazz. If you go to music school in college, you definitely have to take a lot of jazz. So it was still cool. I don't know how it is now, but
Yeah.
it was still really cool when I was coming up
Yeah. So,
with jazz.
so, so you're back in Ohio with your mom, and as you mentioned earlier, you think at that point your career is sort of over.
Yeah.
Tell me how you processed Jeff Blue tracking you down in Ohio to talk about this project, particularly the song "I Try." Tell me about, what do you recall about that moment when they tracked you down in the Buckeye State?
Well, I was pregnant with my third. That's I had just separated from my ex-husband. I came home to live with my mom, and I was 8 months pregnant, and he called me. So I told him, I said, yeah, I'd like to meet with you, but I don't think I can do it till November. And I think he was so kind of blown away that somebody turned him down. He kept calling. He called me like once a week after that.
Right.
That whole thing where you have to act like you don't care. But I was having a baby, and I was just trying to, get through that. I really didn't think I'd ever hear from him again.
Yeah.
But he kept calling.
So he kept calling, and what finally got you to take this phone call seriously?
After he called me back in November again, and I had just had the baby like a week ago, and he said, "Okay, I just want you to fly out to New York and meet so and so and so." My brother drove me. It was about 6 hours from the house. He said, "Just fly out here," and I didn't have any money, so my brother drove me to New York, and I took the meeting, and then we drove back home because I had 3 kids at my mom's house, and she was like, "You better come back home."
Come back to these babies, huh? Yeah.
It was like that, but
Yeah.
it was very kind of happened without me. I was just, you know what I mean? Because I had been working on it for so long, and it hadn't worked out, so I had kind of not settled or surrendered or anything, but I just wasn't expecting anything at that point. So
Yeah. When you look back, I've only got a few minutes left with you, like 4 or 5 minutes left. I want to cover two more things here, a couple things, in these few minutes that we have. When you look back now, 25 years later, and that's why I wanted to tell that backstory for your fans who may have forgotten or may have never heard how that album actually came to be against all of the odds. The album finally does get you take those meetings turn into a deal. The deal turns into this record on How Life Is finally coming out. It becomes a huge hit. It sold millions and millions of copies. Now you're 25 years later. What do you make of the journey of that album and how that set your career in motion?
Oh, changed my whole life, changed everything. I wouldn't have 90% of what I have had it not been for that album. It did everything for me, everything to me. So I'm grateful for all my albums, but that one in particular was turned my life totally around.
Yeah.
It changed who you hang out with, what stores you go to.
Yeah.
Prayers changes what you pray for. You know what I
mean? When you hear, I was talking to Smokey Robinson the other day. He was telling me, people ask him, "Smokey, what do you do when you hear yourself come on the radio?" He said, "I turn it up." That's what I do. I turn it up. So
Yeah.
25 years later, when you hear that song, and I've talked to so many artists over the years, that a song means one thing when they record it. It means one thing at a different point in their life. Sometimes that morphs and changes. Sometimes it doesn't. But when you hear that album, and particularly that track, I Try, all these years later, what do you think in real time?
Blown away that is still around, that people still celebrate it, people still listen to it. I still do like almost like 100 million streams on that song
Yeah.
every year, consistent. It's pretty wild. I wasn't expecting any of this.
Yeah. You ever get tired of performing it in concert?
I don't. I think it's so on autopilot, you know. I think it's just so engraved in my life. I don't even think about it. I just get up and sing it, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Like walking and talking almost.
No, I get it. So it has been 25 years, and now you're on tour again to celebrate this 25th anniversary of the album. Tell me about the tour.
We go to Europe from May 3rd to June 29th. Then we take 2 weeks off, and then we do the States. And you can check on MacyGrayTours.com for all the dates. And it's going well. The show is amazing. I'm really excited, you know, and kicking off with the movie. And, you know, it's a good time. You know, it's busy. It's good.
Yeah. I've seen you perform a number of times here stateside. I haven't had the good fortune to see you perform across the pond, as they say. How are you received across the pond?
I'm a lot more popular overseas, like drastically. So that I spent a lot of time in Europe.
Yeah. Why do you think that? You're not the first artist I've talked to who said that to me, that they are more popular overseas than they are here domestically. Why do you think that is for you, Macy?
I just think the world's a big place. I think if you get just focused on the States, then you limit yourself. You know, it's just Europe is a whole bunch of countries, and you know, I just think the world is a big place. People with different taste. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I never really analyzed it.
No, I get it. Here's my exit question. When you look back over this journey, with this first major album dropping and selling millions and millions of copies, and now you've been in all kinds of movies, and now you're in Sneaks. You at your mama's house with your babies, and things have worked out okay for you. Did you ever imagine it would be all this?
No, absolutely not. I don't.
Yeah.
No, not even close. I just wanted to put music out. Like, I thought I was going to be one of those underground artists, you know. Like, I remember the first week, my album debuted 192 on the album charts, on the top 200, and I sold 8,000 records, and I was on cloud nine. You couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was, you know, you couldn't even look my way. I was it, you know.
Yeah.
So when it went crazy, you know, I didn't see any of that coming, no.
Well, I love that. I love that at 192 and 8,000 sales, you could still celebrate, and couldn't nobody tell Macy Gray nothing.
I was partying. I was all over the place. Yeah.
And then that thing started to climb. And here we are 25 years later, believe it or not, celebrating Macy Gray on How Life Is. And we're celebrating the new movie Sneaks that she stars in, again, alongside Martin Lawrence, Anthony Mackie, Lawrence Fishburne, and an amazing cast of characters in this film, Sneaks. I think you're going to love it. I had a great time. And I hope to catch you on your tour this summer, Macy. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. All the best to you, my friend.
You too. It's always
all right, take care of yourself.
I'll see you next time.
All right, see you next time. Bye.
All right.
Like Cleopatra got the masses at my feet, got a living ground down on easy street.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Chicago Teachers Union members have ratified a new 4-year contract with Chicago Public Schools, providing annual raises, lower class sizes, extra pay for veteran teachers, and increased sports funding. The Board of Education will approve it on April 24th. China has halted all jet orders from Boeing and instructed Chinese airlines to stop buying American aircraft equipment in response to President Trump's 145% tariffs. Boeing stocks dropped 3% in pre-market trading. Washington, D.C.'s National Law Enforcement Memorial is adding 345 new names with nearly 150 officers who died in the line of duty in 2024. This update is in preparation for next month's National Police Week ceremonies. And Hollywood film and television production dropped over 22% in Q1 2025 compared to last year. Experts cite the pandemic, strikes, and January wildfires. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the dagger? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
USC forward Kiki Iriafen was the 4th player selected Monday night in the WNBA draft. Iriafen was chosen by the Washington Mystics. The LA Sparks used their first-round pick on Alabama forward Sarah Ashley Barker. The number 77 jersey worn by Lakers star Luka Doncic is the top-selling jersey in the NBA. Doncic is the first player other than LeBron and Steph Curry to lead the NBA in jersey sales since 2013. Doncic, a native of Slovenia, is also the first international player to lead the NBA in jersey sales. For some reason, Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders has declined an invitation to attend the NFL draft, scheduled for April 24th in Green Bay. Sanders is projected to be the second quarterback selected. At least 17 players expected to be first-round picks have agreed to attend the draft. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach: transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal: prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural, and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Jackson on Tavis Smiley, or Miss Jackson if you're nasty. This is let that ride, let it ride, Miles. Y'all know how we do it, right? Whenever the guests in the studio, they get to choose their own walk-on song. We are pleased to have in the studio Rob Edwards, who is the co-director and writer of Sneaks. Just talked to Macy Gray about Sneaks. We'll get to that with Rob. It's his project. And he was also a writer on a little show called In Living Color. We're going to celebrate 35 years of In Living Color in the 3rd and final hour of our program. And Rob will stick around for that when we're joined by some of the amazing cast members of that iconic piece of work from Keenan Ivory Wayans. Rob, good to have you in the studio, my friend. Why is this your walk-on song today?
Oh man, I don't know. I just love that song. It's got a vibe. It puts me in a mood.
Yeah.
It's what I listen to sometimes when I write.
Yeah. Wow. Let it ride, Miles. I love it. I'm fascinated by what you listen to when you write, because I'm one of those persons who, I've tried this because I love music. I'm a music lover, right? But I can't listen while I'm writing. So it doesn't work for me, but you can do both at the same time?
Well, if you listen to the same song over and over, it starts to blend in.
Right.
It just becomes part of, your DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you just live it.
Yeah. But that track is a vibe, though. There's no question about it. I was telling a friend this not too long ago. I loved Janet when she came out, but I didn't really respect Janet at the level that I think that she deserved to be respected at. Mm-hmm. And I was on a plane one day coming from New York back to LA, and you had long 6.5, it's always longer coming back, right? Because you're up against that headwind. So you get to New York in 5 hours, it takes you 6.5 to get back to LA. Oh, yeah. So I'm up against the headwind, long flight. And on this particular plane, they had, the music you can listen to. They had the Janet Jackson playlist, Best of Janet Jackson. And so we got up in the air, and after we had our meal, I was bored and nothing I wanted to watch in terms of movies. So I looked at what the music was. And so I put on my headphones and I listened to the Janet Jackson playlist. And when I tell you, that day, my respect for Janet went up. I listened to that Best of Janet Jackson. It must have looped 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
All the way back to L.A. And that's all I listened to. I listened to Janet for an entire flight from New York to L.A. By the time I landed, I was no longer sleeping on Janet Jackson. I mean, just the body and breadth and depth of her work. She's doing a residency in Vegas. Wow. She got some dates in Vegas. I may pop over there to see her at some point. I don't know, but she. But I was sleeping on Janet for a minute. I confess, but but that's a vibe though.
Well, who else deserves some flowers is Jimmy Jam. Terry
Lewis. No question, Jam and Lewis, no question. I never slept on them.
Oh, okay.
No. I never slept on Jam and Lewis, which sounds it sounds like you can't make those 2 points in the same sentence, but I just did. That you're sleeping on Janet, but you're not sleeping on them. So I know that's weird, but they had no immense respect for their talent, no question about that. And I mean, all the stuff they've done with Alexander O'Neal. I mean, those guys are amazing. Jam, and I love Jam and Lewis, and hung out with them over the years. But I just I didn't give Janet the respect that she deserved. But anyway, enough of that. I love Janet Jackson now, and I want to go see her again. Okay. So all that said, I'm glad you brought some Janet to us with that on and on. So we talked to Macy moments ago. Spent a good half hour with her talking about her role in Sneaks. So first of all, congrats on the project. Tell me about Sneaks from your perspective as the co-director and writer.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sneaks is the idea for it is like it's a hip hop Toy Story, right? You know, that everybody has their kids' movies, but it's so rare. Like, you don't even see black faces in children's books, you know, much less, you know, any kind of animated film. You know, everybody kind of claims the first half of Lion King. You know, it's like, oh, hey, little brother, you know, but you don't really, you know, you don't really see it, and there are no attempts to just kind of do something for not only black kids but urban kids, just cool kids. And so. Yeah, so Lange Studios, Len Hartman came to me with this idea of shoes getting lost in the middle of New York, and I added to it that there's, you know, you're always looking for this component. What is the human component? You know, like with Princess and the Frog. You know, you want to forget that there are frogs in the bayou, and for this, it's like there are two different types of shoes. There are the box shoes, you know, everybody, you know, I want 2 pair, give me 2 pair, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You know, so you get one pair of shoes that stays in the box, you know, forever, and then that's where they go, and then the other pair that gets worn, you know. And so I figure, like, if you've got a world of shoes, and that is the way shoes look at each other, right? Yeah. They're the shoes that go out and live, and they win championships, and they're, you know, all the glory, but they get scuffed up, you know, they get beat up a little bit. And then the shoes that stay in the box, and they're the suburban shoes that, you know, whatever, they get pampered, and you know, the soles get licked and stuff like that, you know. And so that's what it's about. It's you know, the sister Chloe Bailey, she plays the one that kind of wants to get out and get played, you know, whatever, play some basketball, you know, go, you know, shoot your shot. And then Anthony Mackie plays the one that likes the life of luxury, wants to stay in the box, and he's the one that gets lost and winds up with Martin Lawrence, you know, trying to get back.
That cast, Rob, I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to go there. That cast, I mentioned it in our conversation with Macy. Fishburne.
Yep.
Martin Lawrence. Macy Gray.
Yep.
Anthony Mackie.
Yep.
And the list goes on and on.
Keith David.
Keith David. Love his voice.
Yep.
Love Keith, period.
Everybody in music.
I'm saying. How did you pull that part off?
Yes. Well, you know, it's 2 things. One is that, you know, Mustard, DJ Mustard is, he's a producer. So he just made some calls. You know, I was like, okay.
That always helps.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Hey, you say you want to act.
There you go.
You know, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And so that's where Ellie Mae and a bunch of the people come in. Matty Matt, you know, he comes in. Sway Lee is in it, and they do great. Yeah. And then, you know, there's the other half, and some of the people, they didn't know the project from anything. It's independent. Nobody knows these things, and they just love the script. And so they came along for the ride, and you know, and then there's people like Keith David. It's like, hey, Keith.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to lean on that.
Yeah, because Keith, I love Keith from Princess and the Frog. He's just fantastic.
We played the clip. We played the trailer earlier, and I love that converse.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Converse.
Yes, yes.
We don't talk. We converse.
Yeah.
I love that line. He's a shoe, right? He's a Converse shoe.
The OG shoe.
It's the OG shoe, man. Yes. I love those. I love those OG shoes, man. So it's an amazing project. Just say a word to me. Well, I'm looking at my clock. Let me just do it when we come forward. I'll tell you where I want to go. You sort of intimated, or you talked around this, but I want to get right at it when we come forward, and that is Black people in animation.
Yep.
I want to talk about that part. Talk about your Defiant book here, your graphic novel. We'll talk about that. So a great deal I want to talk about the Rob Everett when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one. Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Rob Edwards, who is the co-director and writer of the new animated film Sneaks. We were talking earlier, and I want to just get back to this right quick here, because you've got so much on your docket that I want to cover. Again, including your graphic novel, Defiant, the story of Robert Smalls, a name that people ought to know. We'll talk about that. Yep. But talk to me about black people in animation. I sometimes marvel at Hollywood. I've been here, for as long as you've been here in this town, at least, and I marvel at the money they leave on the table.
Oh yeah,
because they just for some reason can't get their act together.
Yeah,
and include people of color in projects. So when people can see themselves in something, they'll want to go see that something.
Yes.
And in animation, we just have not caught up yet. So talk to me about black folk in animation.
Well. Yeah, I mean you're right to address it that way. There is a massive audience just waiting to be served. Mm-hmm. There's all these kids out there that kind of like it's a great kind of cheap vacation, right? You go to the movie, you see something fun, you want the kids to see something that's safe, and there is just we are just completely underserved in that. I mean I often joke that on Princess and the Frog, which was Black Princess, Black World, whatever. There were about 300, maybe more people worked on that. 5 black people. Yeah. There's me. As probably I think there's me and Kemp Powers are probably the only 2 black writers who've written animation. And then on top of that there was Bruce Smith, the animator.
Sure.
Marvin, who did special effects, and I think 1 or 2 others. Mm-hmm. But that was it, So a building of 300 people, 5 black people walk out the thing, and this is the voice of black animation. So it's tough because you don't have animators no kid grows up saying, "Mommy, I want to be an animator," and you don't have people who say like, "I want to write black animated movies," but the audience is just waiting.
Yeah. But there are black people who love comic books.
Absolutely.
They love graphic novels.
Yes.
So it seems to me that if you're already a fan of that work, perhaps you ought to put your, just try it yourself. Put your hand, try your hand at it.
Yep.
But it sounds like we need some sort of pipeline to get more people in that lane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, when we talk about Defiant, I mean, that was the reason why we are telling that story in graphic novel form, because you got to meet people where they are.
Right.
You can't write a book. Everybody's going to go, it's just too dry, dusty. And it's tough to get the movie made unless you've made the graphic novel, because you need IP of some kind.
Right.
So, but you got to meet people where they are, and we'll see. I mean, I have high hopes for Sneaks. I think that audience is really going to feel, thrilled to see a movie like this.
Well, yeah, I think the evidence is, I mean, I can only point to television. I shouldn't say only point to television, but you think about the PJs. Mm-hmm. You think about what's the one with Tommy Davidson
I can't remember.
Get it coming to me in a second.
Yeah.
The audience would tell me in 2 minutes. Trust
me.
But
even back in the day, I remember. We're about the same age, so it was like the Cosby Show.
Sure.
Fat Albert and
the Cosby Kid.
Jackson 5.
Sure, I used to love Jackson 5.
Globetrotters.
Mm-hmm.
It was all over the place. I think, but at that point, they knew more about like what. People would respond immediately to it. Ooh, I want to see that, and so off you go.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. We just got away from it. So we're and I've had my arguments with some of the studios I've worked on with where it's just like, yes, you're in a world, but every world doesn't have to be entirely white.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just represent. If you're doing a movie and it takes place in a port city. Well, you can argue that Africans would have settled there at some point or another.
It ain't a stretch. It ain't a stretch, right?
Yeah, it's a fantasy world anyway. So get in there.
Yeah.
And the good part of it is like when you do Princess and the Frog, my wife will occasionally at parties she'll bring somebody up to me like black woman of a certain age, and she'll say, "Tell her what you wrote." Well, I wrote The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
And they will burst into tears.
I'm sure.
And hug me and thank me.
Yeah.
Because they've been waiting all their lives.
Yeah. Tommy Davidson's on this program in the next hour as we celebrate In Living Color. So I better figure out the name of that. It'll come to me in a second. Somebody will tell me when we come forward before Tommy gets here next hour.
Exactly.
I want to talk specifically about this graphic novel, Defiant, the story of Robert Smalls, our guest. And please have him in studio, Rob Edwards, right now on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Do you enjoy fatty foods, sweets, and alcohol? Who doesn't? Unfortunately, all those things put a lot of pressure on our liver. That's why pharmacist, best-selling author, and nutritional expert Sherry Torkos recommends Active Liver from New Nordic.
The liver is an incredible organ. It works non-stop to process toxins and chemicals from our food and drinks, medications we take, and even environmental exposures. As a health expert, I'm often asked how to support the liver's natural detoxification process and offset the effects of fatty foods, sugar, and alcohol. I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. This gentle plant-based supplement is an effective way to support your liver's vital functions as well as your energy and overall well-being.
With its powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, Active Liver is the perfect way to keep your liver healthy and you feeling your best. Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more. all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
As I mentioned, Rob Evans is going to stick around for our next hour. But he was one of the writers on In Living Color. We're going to celebrate In Living Color 35 years later in our next hour. But in this 4.5 minutes I have left, I want to cover 3 things right quick. By the way, it came to me, the Proud Family.
Proud Family.
Proud Family. Sorry, Tommy.
Bruce Smith also working on that.
Yes, he did. So that's the Proud Family. That was Tommy's animated piece. Is Tommy's animated piece. Tell me about Defiant, the story of Robert Smalls, your graphic novel.
Yes, well, Robert Smalls was this guy who was, a slave, born a slave, kind of raised by his slave master. When he was 23 years old, he's working on this ship that kind of distributed weapons from place to place for the Confederacy, because they had slaves working for the Confederate Navy. One night, he just he sees that the white crew would always take off for the night, especially when they had weapons on board the ship. He and the 9 other crew members take the boat, 3 o'clock in the morning, push off, meet their families in Charleston, navigate 5 military checkpoints, dressed as the captain, circumnavigate all of the mines that they had put themselves in the water, and then surrender the ship to the Union Army. He quickly becomes the bounty from it makes him a rich man. He P.T. Barnum has him giving speeches. He becomes the most famous black man in the world. Mm-hmm. He has this conversation with Lincoln where he convinces Lincoln to allow black people to serve in the military. So when you see Glory is downstream from this.
That's right.
And he runs for Congress 5 times and wins. He has a railroad. He has a publishing house. And I think the most heroic thing that he does is he dies of old age. Bought the house in the house that he was enslaved in. He bought that. Wow. So it's a remarkable story. We are doing it as a graphic novel because we want people to get it. I think every high school kid in America should be wearing a Robert Smalls T-shirt. So the book comes out. The comic books are out now, but the book, the graphic novel, comes out on Juneteenth.
It's called Defiant, the story of Robert Smalls, and you heard Juneteenth, right?
Yep.
That's the perfect day to drop a graphic novel about Robert Smalls.
Yep.
So congrats on the success of that in advance. I got a minute and a half left here, and I want to just mention 2 things, and you opine as you will, sound off as you will, but congratulations on the record-breaking box office success for The King of Kings and the success of Captain America, on which you also wrote. So talk to me very quickly about King of Kings and Captain America.
Yeah, well, you want to tell great stories about great people.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the person, I don't back down to pressure. So I like the idea of telling things with high value, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And so King of Kings, the story of Jesus, as told through the lens of Charles Dickens, telling it to his son Walter, is a movie about Jesus you can feel safe, to show your kids. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when you're talking about the world's greatest story, you say, okay, yeah, but you have to leave the room for the last 30 minutes because because it gets brutal. Yeah. In this, you can sit your kid down, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and the kids can sit and enjoy.
Yep. He has had quite a career, and he ain't
and
done
Captain
yet.
America speaks for itself.
It does, and so is the box office on that. Yep. And that's Anthony Mackie, who's also in Sneaks, the new film from Rob Everett. So
coming out this week,
Prince and the Frog, Captain America, King of Kings, Sneaks, and In Living Color,
and Defiant.
It's a long list, man. Yeah, we're going to talk about In Living Color and celebrate it with some of Rob's friends in our third and final hour. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1587.
Contract with Chicago Public Schools, providing annual raises, lower class sizes, extra pay for veteran teachers, and increased sports funding. The Board of Education will approve it on April 24th.